#1 selling compact tractor in the
Hey, and good evening. Meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios. I hope you're having a wonderful, Thursday evening, a couple minutes after 6 o'clock. It was a pretty nice day today, fairly comfortable across our region with a mix of sun and clouds. Meteorologist Dan Nyman still up in Kentucky. He's doing wedding planning and all that kind of fun stuff. So he's up there. He gets back into town tomorrow at some point. And he'll be back in the fray. So that's where things stand right now. So you're stuck with just me, and I don't even think the weather cat's around. I think the weather cat's out mousing around right now. So that's where we are right now. We got a lot of weather to talk about. We have, of course, the big winter storm system, which has been thankfully not here because it's been a pain in the butt for people as far as forecasters across the South. And then for us, we have a chance of rain on Sunday or a chance of storms on Sunday that we're watching for a low-end severe weather risk. We'll touch on that a little bit. Really, we're just more in watch and wait type mode, but I wanted to kind of throw it out there because of the fact that so many people are talking about the winter storm that I don't want you to be caught off guard that there is a small risk of storms as we head on into your Sunday. So viewer photos today. Maria on Panama City Beach. You like the mackerel color sky today. It was looking absolutely gorgeous. So we did sneak in a little bit of sunshine there. Thank you very much, Maria. Meanwhile, out on, let's see, we were over into Panama City Beach. Miss Cheryl, a lot of times up there in Chipley, but not so today. You can see as you look to the left, you see some breaks in the clouds, but as you look to the right, it actually gets a little bit ominous out there this evening. Linda Cherry over into South Walton. This is over in the Origins neighborhood on the eastern side there this evening. With, again, as you look out over toward the distance, you can make out some of that daylight there. But for the most part, we got some mostly cloudy skies out there this evening. So as we head into tomorrow, we do have a small chance of rainfall across northwest Florida. It's not going to be a lot, but a small chance. But I would love to see your weather photos. You can always submit them on our Panhandle weather app. You can email them to me. You can post them on Facebook. But I, generally speaking, check the app first, just because it's a little bit easier for me to get them into the system. But you get them to me. I'll do my best to show them. Good evening, Austin. Thanks again for your help with the snow coverage. Miss Donna, good to see you in the chat as well this evening. So right now, holding on to a smidgen of daylight here over in Destin this evening. You can see the waves kind of rolling in. Definitely that southeasterly wind more evident today, not only with the dew point temperature, but also a little bit of the wave action cruising on in. The dew point up to 61 degrees right now. Well, that's Destin along the water. It's 58 right now in Panama City Beach. A little bit less of a direct wind for you, but right now reporting a southerly wind at 7 miles an hour and 62 degrees. So it's warm enough that I got two tables of folks that are still out there this evening. But temperatures won't drop a whole lot tonight across our region, so it's not going to get terribly all that much colder. Over in, let's see, this is Schooners. I don't think they're open yet. I think they, I want to say maybe February 1st, somewhere around in there, they reopen. But 62 degrees, dew point of 59. There's that south wind at 7 miles an hour. Breeze over at Pineapple Willie's. Again, temperatures right now currently into the 60s. So high temperatures today, 60s and 70s. Good evening, Miss Tammy. Temperatures today, basically 60s to near 70 along the coastline. And then we are into the mid 70s up across the I-10 corridor. So temperatures definitely on the warmer side as you get away from the influence of the water, because water temperatures right now struggling to hit 60 degrees. So as we look at live Doppler radar and we widen out the picture here, you can look out to the west. There's definitely a little shower activity for my friends between Gulf Breeze and Fort Walton Beach. A little bit of rainfall in northern Okaloosa County, northern Santa Rosa County, seeing a little bit of rainfall. A couple showers offshore there of South Walton right now, and you see some of those showers extending out into the Gulf. It's not a whole lot, and I'm not expecting a lot in the way of rainfall, well, this evening, but also Friday into Saturday. Our best chance of rainfall comes Sunday, but even that rainfall may be late in the day, that chance of showers and thunderstorms. As we move up into northern Santa Rosa County, there you see a couple of those showers, and there's the one north of Crestview moving up toward Andalusia there. Now, as we widen out the picture again, you see the stretch of showers through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, but look at all the color on the map. This is going to be a mess. Lily, good evening over there in Callaway. Winter storm warnings from basically like Albuquerque through Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, the whole state of Arkansas. And then you see this purple area from south of Nashville down through Tupelo into Mississippi. That, my friends, is going to be an ice storm. And that could be the nastiest spot on the map. But the rest of this is going to be a mixture of sleet, freezing rain, and snow. Snow to the north, sleet and freezing rain as you make your way down to the south. But you see how wide-ranging this is as it extends all the way over to the east coast. Temperatures right now currently into the 60s across most of northwest Florida, so fairly slow to drop. And every day when I've shown you this map, we continue to see temperatures that are warmer than what they were 24 hours ago. So 5, 10 plus degrees warmer than they were yesterday. And so that warm up continues across our region. Now, as we look at those winds, again, you see very light onshore winds continuing to blow in from the Gulf. So that's not only increasing the moisture, but also leading to those milder temperatures here across northwest Florida. Our winds will remain out of the southeast as we move through the evening and overnight hours tonight, pumping in that moisture. And so that's going to keep low temperatures tonight for most of us into the 50s. I do think through the Chipola River Valley, where it's a little bit drier, a little bit cooler, you may drop into the upper 40s, but nothing in the way that's going to be too much of a shock to the system, especially with as cold as it's been as of late. That cold stuff, it's on the way, but it's going to take its time. It's going to end up coming in as we head into next week. Now, Friday night, we'll see a brief northerly wind as we have a stationary front kind of slip down to the south. That will allow slightly drier and cooler air to move in, and so that may be a little more noticeable Saturday morning into Saturday, but it's not going to be anything significant, but you will see that brief change of winds to out of the north. So future clouds and radar, notice towards Tallahassee, not much cloud cover, more cloud cover off to the east. As we move through the evening and overnight hours tonight, we'll keep an eye. You see most of the blips of greens show up over to our west, and that's where we'll see a better chance of rainfall as we head into your Friday, especially Friday morning into the afternoon. Lesser chances of rainfall off to the east. Now, all of us, I think, will see more clouds than what we saw today, but especially a little thicker as you make your way towards Pensacola because, again, a little bit better chance of rainfall. So if I were to kind of break this down, I would say closer to a 40% chance of rainfall, 20% chance of rainfall, and like no chance of rainfall. Is how I would kind of break it down. As we move through Friday afternoon, again, you see a few spritzes out here, but everything just kind of fizzles as it makes its way off to the east. So again, while the rain chances aren't zero on Friday, they're not going to be very high, and they would be a little bit higher to the west and a little bit lower off to the east. So our forecast for this evening, as I mentioned, we're not going to be seeing temperatures get too terribly cool. We'll drop from the 60s and down into the 50s throughout the evening and into the overnight hours. As we look at those lows tonight, as I mentioned, Chipola River Valley, upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. 50s pretty much elsewhere, but look at the coastline. Again, right now, temperatures, what? We looked at those cameras along the beach. They are 62 degrees or so. And look at your lows, 55, 59, 58, 58. So it's not even going to be getting a whole lot cooler this evening, especially along the coastline because of that onshore wind. And now, hey, Judy, good evening. Try grunt. Happy Thursday. Thank you all very much for joining in this evening. Now, here's what's going to be happening. We're going to talk about this coming up in just a minute. As we move through Friday, you see that little bit of rainfall there. Look at what happens on Friday into Saturday. Wave 1 of wintry precipitation. Here comes wave 2 of precipitation. And believe it or not, the hurricane hunters have been out checking this thing out, sampling the environment out into the Pacific. They're also going to do an upper level pass in the Gulf. to hopefully put as much data into the models to kind of help them get a better handle on this, because we've seen some pretty wild changes as far as where the wintry weather is going to be and who's going to see what, where folks in northern Alabama thought they might get a foot of snowfall, and now they're looking at the potential for an ice storm. So there's been a lot of uncertainty with the forecast as far as changes with it over the course of the week, which has people pulling their hair out up here. Thankfully, down here along the northern Gulf Coast, we haven't had to worry about that. But you see, really, it's 2 waves of wintry precipitation through the weekend. We'll talk a little bit more about that, and we'll have a look at your weekend forecast. Yes, Becky, happy Friday Eve. That's all coming up here.
We're proud to bring you the most popular cars in the world, like the stylish Camry and the sporty Corolla. Get award-winning style and 2.99% APR on a new Camry, named Best New Model by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, you get 90 days until you make your first payment. Curb appeal comes standard on the new Corolla, designed to wow from the inside out. Get 2.99% APR plus 90 days until your first payment. Panama City Toyota, your Camry and Corolla headquarters.
When it comes to building, local experience matters. At Mid-South Lumber, our team knows the job, and we'll help you get it right the first time. From weekend DIY projects to full custom builds, you'll get solid materials, fair prices, and service you won't find at a big box store. That's why we're the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. Mid-South Lumber. Shop local. Build with confidence. Let's quote your next project today.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
And welcome back, everyone. Here we are on this Friday Eve, as Miss Becky was saying in the chat. We appreciate you guys tuning. Ooh. There we go. Almost forgot. There we go. You look down, it's red. Red is bad, but now you can hear me. Now it's not red, so it's good. Happy Friday Eve to everyone, as Miss Becky said in the chat. Over into Destin tonight, we do have some clouds overhead across northwest Florida. As we look out over Panama City Beach, again, we have 2 tables that are still out there. It looks like we lost the 1 table. They're cleaning that one up. That one still has some folks at it. Winds are out of the south this evening across our area. Over into Panama City, good to see this camera back online. It's been offline for a few days, but you can still see how still things are over at Destination Panama City there with a temperature of 61 degrees. Over into St. Andrews, back online with this camera as well, looking over towards the port tonight. You can definitely see the lights reflecting off of the clouds, which are pretty prevalent across the horizon there. Over into Panama City. We widen out the picture here. This is St. George Island. This one goes into its security mode, so unfortunately it kind of comes and goes with what you're able to see, and we just missed the good parts there, being able to see folks dining out. But we were able to see the fires of the lights there that they have around the outside dining patio, so we know that the Blue Parrot is open this evening. And the temperature right now is 60 degrees. Winds are very, very light at 2 miles per hour, and that's out there for our friends on St. George Island. So Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's happening when it comes to our weather across the country. The weather pattern for today, we saw a couple isolated showers develop across our region, and that's because we have this warm, moist kind of southwesterly flow that's bringing in the moisture, and so we've been able to squeeze out a couple of these isolated showers over the course of the day. All the energy, though, for the most part, stays north of us. And you see those showers on that southwesterly flow that have developed over the course of the day as we look at live Doppler radar. Showers south of Pensacola from Navarre out into the Gulf. We have some more showers that are just south of, say, Destin right now. There's that shower that just passed over into Santa Rosa County there, moving across the Sound and across Highway 98 there. So there'll be a brief period of some wet roads, and things will clear out pretty quickly. Some more showers north of Crestview, northern Santa Rosa County, well north of Milton. These are moving southwest and up into parts of Alabama. So things looking pretty good across our neck of the woods this evening. As we talked about, look at this winter storm system extending all the way from New Mexico and western Texas on up into the Ohio River Valley. Almost the entirety of several states under winter storm warnings that are currently in effect. And as we look up into the Northeast, winter storm watches are in effect from Boston and down through New York and Washington, D.C. for the potential of heavy snow and wintry weather across that part of the country. So the first part will be the warning, then the watch, and by tonight or tomorrow, this will all switch over to a winter storm warning as well. No watches or warnings for Northwest Florida, happy to say, or unhappy to say, as the case may be, depending upon what you would be wishing for. Now, for the rest of this week, well, we only got tonight and tomorrow, but it continues to be warmer and more humid across our area this weekend. Saturday will be the dry day. Sunday will be wetter, but as I talked about, I think the best chances of those showers and thunderstorms are going to be later in the day. So I was talking to a mom on Facebook last night, and her son's 7th birthday party is on Sunday afternoon, and she was going to cancel, and I said, hold on, let's just give it another day, because it was only Wednesday. It's like, let's look at it, because I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to kind of get in a lot of the stuff Sunday before the showers and thunderstorms come in later. So we're still watching that, but I think when you kind of would look back, a recap of the weekend, most of you would say, it was a pretty decent weekend, even though we may get almost an inch of rainfall Sunday night. But at least the outdoor plans would be mostly done by that point. Temperatures tonight staying into the 50s, and again at times partly to mostly cloudy skies. I think as a whole we will stay mostly cloudy. I want you to pay attention to our winds. Winds are fairly light out of the south and east, so that continues to pump in the moisture as we head into Friday. As we move into Friday evening, notice we have a stationary front that will just kind of drape its way across our area, and so there'll be a window that we get northerly winds in here, and so as a result, Saturday morning will be a little bit cooler, probably still 50s, but probably like low to mid 50s as opposed to like mid to upper 50s. And then high temperatures Saturday may only be right around the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. But notice those winds pretty quickly, they do start to pick up. But then notice on Saturday, quickly, they turn southeast and southerly and pick up, and that's going to start pumping in the moisture because that's going to feed into that weather maker that we talked about that will be here on Sunday. So when we look at our rainfall chances over the next 24 hours, again, there will be some rainfall on Friday, primarily across the western panhandle to Panama City. Western panhandle, 40%, Panama City, 20%, Tallahassee, closer to 0%. Is how I would kind of break it down. We'll average it out to about 20%. And you'll see what I'm talking about. This is a good description of it. So as we move through the night tonight, 20 to 30% chances, primarily over towards Crestview, Pensacola, and Milton. As we move through the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow morning, notice rain chances up across the I-10 corridor from Bonifay to Defuniak Springs, 20 to 30%, 20% Destin, and over into Pensacola. Moving over the course of the day on Friday, notice there's a lot more yellow over the western panhandle, 20 to 40% rain chances. Meanwhile, Tallahassee's at 1%, 7%, 5%. You see what I'm talking about. More likely to the west. likely off to the east. As we head into Friday afternoon, again, you see that kind of swath of rainfall, but it doesn't make it much past, say, 3:31, and then everything quiets down as we head into your Friday evening. So our future cast, again, plenty of clouds across northwest Florida. You'll see that as we'll see mostly cloudy skies heading into your Friday morning. We pay attention, again, to these favored areas that could see at least some rainfall on Friday. But again, for most of us, I think it's going to be a decent day. And then the showers just kind of fizzle out as we head through Friday afternoon and evening. So if you're lucky enough to get a date night Friday night, it's looking good. Or in the case of the Smith family, Charlie has flag football, and I think the weather will be okay for that. Temperatures Friday morning, 50s to near 60 degrees along the coastline, with upper 40s along the Chipola River Valley, Apalachicola River Valley. As we head into school on Friday, 50s, and then climbing up to near 70 degrees in the afternoon. We'll go with generally mostly cloudy skies, so kind of a layery type day. Cool to start, but definitely not a bad day. And those rain chances aren't zero, so I would go ahead and say that I would keep the umbrella. I would go ahead and leave the umbrella at home. It's probably not going to be worth the rain gear for the rain chances that we'll see. Temperatures on Friday, pretty close to 70 degrees for most of us, and then we'll notice temperatures a little bit cooler, low 50s Saturday morning, low to mid 50s along the coastline, and then highs on Saturday, upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. Keep in mind, temperatures at the coast are always going to be cooler during the day because the water temperature is only 60 degrees. So our weather setup today, much more active across the northern tier of the country. A big upper level low is bringing below average temperatures across the northern tier of the country. We are seeing the subtropical jet, which has allowed for warmer air to lift to the north, and it's brought those couple spritzes of rainfall across our region. As we head into Friday, you see that surge of cold air, that polar jet moves farther to the south, allowing below average temperatures for a good chunk of the country. And then we start marrying it up with low pressure out to the west. That will start moving in, and that will be the setup to get this winter storm going as we head into the weekend. So Friday morning, look at these temperatures. So as that cold air plunges to the south, the winds will be howling. Wind chills are going to be as low as minus 30 degrees up across parts of the Great Lakes. Meanwhile, for us, we have a winter storm scenario, not in northwest Florida, for a decent chunk of the south, and it all depends on the track of this area of low pressure. Remember, the hurricane hunters we talked about have been out there in the Pacific, but they're also going to be sampling the Gulf because they want to get a good idea where does this low pressure develop, because that's going to cause the pivot of the snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Now, nothing is going to pivot it down far enough to the south to get us out of the chance of rainfall and into any of that wintry precipitation. So it just depends. So pay attention Saturday afternoon and then Sunday morning into central Alabama. And then scenario number 2 on Sunday is that the lows are farther to the south and east, and that does allow for that wintry weather threat to kind of pivot a little bit farther to the south. And if that happens, then that brings the snow a little bit farther to the south. But the general trend has been more towards scenario number 1, which is bringing a lot of the wintry precipitation a little bit farther to the north. So as far as the possibilities of snow, this is our Barron model, and it's just one solution, but you can definitely tell there's the swath of wintry precipitation. Now, just a few days ago, some of this pink was all the way down into northern Mississippi, Alabama, southern parts of Tennessee, and now they're going to get like hardly anything out of this when it comes to snow. And all the heavy stuff is now from Joplin and St. Louis and Indianapolis and Cleveland and Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, up into New York could see the most amount of snow. Meanwhile, the sleet will become a big issue. Oklahoma into Arkansas and up through the Ohio River Valley. And then you see there's this little tongue right here. That is from what we call the wedge. And that's when you get high pressure that forces cold air down the Appalachians. And so that pushes the cold air down the Appalachians and into places like northern Georgia, into Macon and Atlanta. I don't think the cold air gets far enough into Macon to get wintry weather there, but it definitely gets down into Atlanta. And that'll be critical there because big major city, major ice storm potentially for parts of the city. Now, I think it could spread from north to south, and so like the airport and south could be fine, and then the northern part of the city, you know, up towards Gainesville could be like a complete disaster. But you still see, look at all this sleet out into places like Texas, and then we look at this freezing rain scenario that develops over into Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and then look into Mississippi. Potentially, I mean, parts of Mississippi, not from Memphis, could just get pummeled. And then you see, again, that favored area up into the Appalachian Mountains there of northern Georgia could be hammered with ice. So we're talking about over a ½ inch of ice, and that starts breaking a lot of tree limbs and causes power outages and the whole 9 yards. So for us, over the next 7 days, it's really Sunday, and even Sunday, it's late Sunday. Everything else is relatively small. Our second best chance of rainfall will be on Friday, but again, a little bit more likely towards Pensacola, less likely over toward Tallahassee. So here's this front, okay? Remember the front? It just kind of sags to the south. That's where that north wind briefly gets in here. And then quickly the front develops and heads north, and we get the moisture streaming up, and there's your big winter storm system. And then as we head into Sunday evening, there's your line of showers and thunderstorms. And so that's what we'll be watching here, because we'll be in the warm sector, because the cold sector is way north of us. And so our temperatures will be warm and humid and the whole 9 yards. And so we'll have to watch to see if we get maybe the possibility of some stronger showers and thunderstorms across our area. Now, our future lightning product, an exclusive to Panhandle weather, you're not going to see a whole lot in the way of lightning with this. As we move throughout time, you'll see thunderstorms more likely out into Texas. And as the system develops and moves across the northern Gulf Coast, you see that thunderstorm threat really just begins to fizzle. But what we are looking at here also is convective available potential energy. And so there will be some energy in the atmosphere for these thunderstorms, although they might not include thunder and lightning, or at least much of it, as they move across northwest Florida as we head into Sunday afternoon and evening. And so you'll see that right here, and then everything clears out and everything's good as we head back to work on Monday. I say good, it's going to be cold on Monday. Really, really cold. So when we look at your Mardi Gras forecast into Funiac Springs, on Saturday, not bad. Things get underway at 9 with the vendors, and I know the parade is at 3 o'clock up there, and the weather, I think, honestly, should be pretty decent. You're not going to do much better. Look at the big swath of precipitation across the south. We're kind of on the edge of it, but still the potential with that rain on Sunday night, showers, maybe some thunderstorms, will be for maybe a ½ inch to an inch of rainfall, maybe 3/4 of an inch, a little bit less to the east, a little bit more towards Pensacola. But if we could get ½ inch to an inch of rainfall, that'd be looking pretty good. So again, this weekend, about 70 on Saturday, 75 Sunday, showers and thunderstorms. But again, don't sweat most of Sunday, as the timing right now looks to be a little bit later on into the day. I do want you to sweat this, although you won't be sweating it. Right now you'll sweat it because we have a ridge of high pressure. But there you see, trough number 1 swings through, trough number 2 swings through, and that's going to keep this cold weather pattern across the deep south. And so you'll see after the next 3 days, it's cold, well below average into next week. Maybe only 40s on Monday. And look at these low temperatures, maybe, I mean, it's a long ways out. We'll see. Mid-20s for the beaches, low 20s inland. We haven't been anywhere near the mid-20s for the beaches this year. We're seeing degrees at the beaches. So this could be a real shock to the system. And you'll see from the end of January to the beginning of February, look at the certainty as far as much colder than average conditions across the eastern part of the country. And you'll see that across northwest Florida. This gets us from the 28th through the 1st of February. And as we go into that first week of February through February 5th, map doesn't change really any. We stay below average across northwest Florida. So here's that 7-day forecast. Again, rain chances as we head into Friday a little bit higher right along the coastline and to the west towards Pensacola, lower to the east and inland. And then Saturday should be mainly dry, 60s, maybe touching 70 on Sunday. But look at that cold weather that comes in next week. Meanwhile, inland areas, rain chances a little bit lower, but again, a little bit higher to the west, a little bit lower to the east. Nothing that great until we get into Sunday late afternoon, evening, and then everything gets colder as we head into next week. So that's where we stand as far as the weather across Northwest Florida. Yeah, nice little reprieve from the cold today. You're right. We'll have a reprieve through Sunday. After that, whew, we shall see. Also, look what I got in the mail today. So, my buddy, Nor'easter Nick, he's one of like the first people that did what Dan and I are doing in the country. He's up in New Jersey. So like he's knee deep in alligators right now because he might get like 6 inches to a foot of snow up in like southern New Jersey. But anyway, he wrote a book and I haven't gotten to read it yet. So I can't even tell you if it's good. But I can tell you Nick's a good guy and I'm a big fan of his, and his book came in the mail today because it was, I think, today. I had ordered it on Amazon, and he's going to come down, and he promised he would sign it for me. But anyway, I think I'm not a huge reader. My wife will tell you that, and it's like barely over 200 pages. I think I'll be able to handle that. But it's called Rain Date: Unpredictable Lessons from My Life Forecasting the Weather, Nor'easter Nick. So that's where things stand this evening. And somehow by myself, I've done 30 minutes of weather. I hope I haven't bored you to tears. Get the cold ski gear ready for next week. Yes. It is going to be cold. Cold through the week into next weekend as well, the way it looks. And any stuff you see on social media about winter weather, just ignore it for now. Let's get through this weekend and then we'll worry about that. Because if anything the past week has taught us is that when you try and predict stuff, what's going to happen way too far in advance in front of where the science of meteorology will allow us, you end up with egg on your face. And there's a lot of people that are in that boat this week, points northward. So anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening. Like I said, Dan is back. He won't be back tomorrow, but he's coming back into town tomorrow. So it'll be good to have him back probably this weekend. I mean, he's always working, so he'll be back this weekend. And then we'll keep an eye on those storms. We'll keep you posted through the weekend. Normally, we don't do live shows on Saturday or Sunday, but obviously, if the weather might be interesting, we'll definitely do live shows this weekend, so don't worry about that. And yeah, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of the snowstorm in Northwest Florida, and we talked about that. We had a lot of people, like a ton of you shared your pictures from last year because I asked you to, and you obliged, and it was awesome to see them. Brought a lot of good memories back. Not that I didn't appreciate seeing the snow pictures from this past weekend, but like last year's snow was like incredible. So much better than this year. Although I was very happy for folks that saw flakes this year as a more typical snow fell this past weekend. But y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I have new updates that dropped in the channel, so we should be good to go there. I have a bunch of work I'll be working on this evening. I'll send out some social posts and all that kind of stuff. But y'all have a wonderful Thursday evening, a great Friday. Truly appreciate y'all. Over 14,000 downloads of the app. And y'all have a great Friday and be good.
I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.